listening to this podcast right now. Do you want to hear a fucking podcast about anything and everything? Yeah. Like movies, music, television, and more?
Oh my God.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Yes.
Subscribe to Journey into Comics Network, and you get Podcastrophe, hosted by me,
Yes.
Dick. Why not throw a couple bucks to the Patreon? It's your choice. Yeah. This is a Podcastrophe.
That sounds so awesome.
The following is a Journey into Comics Network production.
To a nicer guy, it couldn't happen.
I am the man of the hour, the man with the power.
Diamonds are forever.
He put hard times on Dusty Rhodes and his family.
And what you gonna do, Andre?
History beckons the Macho Man. Yeah.
The best there is, the best there was.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Two words for ya.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Journey into Wrestling. We are back. It is the season premiere. I am your host, Nate, and I've got something pretty awesome for you guys today. So typically, we've got, like a standard show, and we talk about all the current going-ons of wrestling and what have you. Not today. Today, I'm going to bring you guys something totally different. And what I'm bringing to you is that I have a couple very special guests, John Tyler Christopher, Matthew Waite. Both are Marvel comic book cover artists who have carved their own paths in the world of comic books. John Tyler Christopher does the Star Wars action figure cover series and has been doing amazing with that and has tons and tons and tons and tons of characters that he's done in that series, as well as some other Marvel characters and what have you. And I think he also has a deal with Hasbro. And then on the other side, we've got Matthew Waite, who has himself carved out a very special legacy with his style of art. He does 8-bit covers for Marvel. He's done some for Boom Studios and Valiant, and you guys can hear all about that. All you got to do is go find it on the Journey into Comics Network. Somewhere, at some point in time, you guys will have heard the Matthew Waite conversation. I promise. It's already out there. I'm not sure where it is, but it is already out there, so go find that Easter egg. Anyways, enough banter from me. I'm going to send it on over to Nate, send it on over to the live stage from LaffyCon 2018. By the way, this was recorded live on stage, impromptu, and it was fantastic. We did not get to have the full conversation that we wanted. However, there will be more conversation to be had between the three of us, and I cannot wait for that. So without further ado, myself, John Tyler Christopher, and Matthew Waite discussing professional wrestling.
Mic check 1 2.
Oh, that's tasty.
You sound good. You guys sound great.
That is a tasty BB-8.
Woo! Delicious drinking on the podcast.
Heck yeah, that's the only way to pod, bro.
We're essentially doing a mini journey into wrestling right now. Welcome to the show. John Tyler Christopher and Matthew Waite, both comic book artists, both have carved their names out in the industry with their own unique style of comic book covers. But we're not here to talk about comics today, guys. Let's talk some wrestling.
We're going to talk some wrestling.
Woohoo! What's your so people who are familiar with wrestling but don't know you guys and your preferences? Both of you are going to answer this question, top 3 all time, and go. No particular order.
Macho Man, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels.
Singing to my heartstrings, absolutely.
Flair.
Oh.
Oh, man. I was always a fan of Eddie Guerrero, too, man.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I saw his second to last match, a SmackDown live event. It was him, Batista, and Orton. Triple threat for the title because Eddie was champ. Batista at the time was champ. Batista wins with the Batista bomb on Orton, and then after him and Eddie celebrated and danced all around the ring in the arena for like 25 minutes. We were just in the crowd like, this is great! And then the next week he was dead, and I was very sad.
Oh, my God.
It was like awful.
I got to think of it as two schools. Like, who's the most charismatic and who's the best technical?
Ooh. Well, and that's why my number 3 pick, or not number 3, my third pick of that would probably be Angle, because I think much like Flair, like, guy was When he wanted to be funny, he was funny. When he wanted to be serious, he was serious. But man, I don't care. Between Michaels at the WrestleMania match, what was it, 21?
Amazing. One of the legendary matches of WrestleMania.
And his match with Guerrero is, to me, one of the most underrated matches.
Oh, his match with Rey.
Yes, also an amazing
match. Rey Mysterio. I mean, hearing him talk about it, just like Rey was scared that their styles were not going to mesh.
Oh,
and Angle's like, you go all out. Let's work on this. I want to cater. That's the good thing about Kurt Angle is that he always caters to the other guy. Angle's one of those guys that can make anybody look great.
Oh, well, like, again, going back to that Guerrero Angle match, man, like, how much did it played into both of them as who they were so well? Because you had the whole thing at the end where he was tying in the ankle lock, but Guerrero's boot had gotten loosened, so he pulls the boot off, and I was like, that's pure Eddie Guerrero.
And then doesn't he hit Angle with the boot and then lays down like he got hit?
Yes.
And that was the switch?
Yep.
I mean, that's classic heel Eddie Guerrero at his finest,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Phenomenal. Top 3 for me is hard because there's just like a wide array of wrestlers I've loved. Chris Jericho is one I can't ignore. He's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
Michaels obviously is up there, but then it's like, do I say Flair? Do I say Rock?
Well, that's why I'm saying like there's two.
There
schools
really
of
is.
thought.
There is two schools, and Flair is definitely more the charismatic. He didn't get by on his wrestling skills. He got by on talking, and he was phenomenal at it. But there are guys that definitely bridge the gap. CM Punk, Jericho, even now with the Elite, which we're going to probably be talking a little bit about.
The Elite, the Elite.
Okay, I thought we were going to keep going, but no, dude, I love professional wrestling, and we had riffed that we wanted to do this last year and didn't get a chance to do this.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of the current climate of professional wrestling, and does WWE turn you off after WrestleMania season?
It's turned me off before WrestleMania season, to be frank with you.
Fair enough, yeah.
No, so here's the deal. Like, I will admit I own the network, so I'm
Same.
I'm feeding the machine, but I watch it for other things. Like I have not watched Raw or SmackDown, with the exception of, unless I hear the SmackDown was amazing. I don't think I've watched Raw in 5 years, honestly. Like,
whoa.
Yeah, no, honestly, I hate Roman Reigns.
Same. I mean, there's a point where you could have got him over. I think the first year he had a chance to win the Rumble and they didn't give it to him and they gave it to Batista.
Right.
That's a mistake. And then the next year they try to push him, and then everybody wants Daniel Bryan to win. So when Roman wins, nobody wants that.
Right.
And then you try to put him over at Mania and it just doesn't work. They're just make him a fucking heel. Make him a bad dude.
Well, it's the mentality is that's the guy that they still want to get over.
I don't think it's going to work at this point.
It's not going to work, and that's the main reason why WWE doesn't care. They got their money. So they're going to do whatever they want to do. And you're seeing that in Raw and SmackDown, is that their storyline are so convoluted, and it's so... It's not good storytelling. It isn't.
No, they've got.
You're doing the same 5 matches over and over and over again.
Here's a crazy stat for you guys. So, Battleground 2016, Sammy and Kevin Owens had a match. It was supposed to be the last time they'll ever face each other.
Of course.
Since then, they have had 147 singles matches or matches against each other, because they immediately both got drafted to SmackDown, immediately got put back into a feud, and it's like, did you forget what you just told us the last time they're going to battle?
Once in a lifetime.
Twice.
Yeah.
2 times.
Yeah, didn't care about it the first time, didn't care about it the second time.
I actually hated the second time because
Yes.
it cost CM Punk the greatest title reign maybe in modern history. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And had that not happened and he stays with the company through WrestleMania 30, I mean, there's so many things that could have been better if they didn't screw that up, give the title to Rock, for Rock to drop it to Cena. It didn't line up.
For me, again, like I appreciated the first times, like the value of it, right? Like it's like it's the dream match, and
yeah, and then
we
like
always
Cena
want
was
those.
disappointed with the loss and couldn't get over himself, and that's like it was kind of a good character development for him
Right.
a little bit. But then they just said, okay, we're going to do it again.
Well, but again, going back to like the problem with it was that with Cena, right? So he loses the match. He's on this like horrible losing streak. and it was built for the Rocky Balboa comeback. But the problem was twofold. They never actually took Cena down. He was still John Cena throughout the whole situation. Yeah, I wish I couldn't see him. And on the flip side, so like there was no redemption because he never went down, and he never acted like it's the problem that so many faces have now in wrestling. Like there is no viability to their frustration because like I lost a match, but it's cool. I'm gonna smile and high five people. Like you don't see that with other people. Like even in NXT, man, look at like NXT Chicago recently, right? You had the Gargano Ciampa
amazing,
2.
yes.
Okay,
I saw it live.
Shut up.
So mad at you.
Man, like, there's how you do it. Ciampa gets booed. Like, legitimately, you hate him for all the right
hot
reasons.
heat in that room that night.
Gargano comes out. He doesn't come out there and try and lock up with him and let's have a wrestling match.
Beats the piss out of him.
Oh, my God. They're just, like, throwing dogs. And then, like, they keep escalating and building up and building the match. Like, the storytelling in that and the storytelling leading up to it is something you don't see on the main roster anymore. And it kills all viability for me with the main roster.
I think it's evident that Vince still has a strong hold on the main roster, even though we want to believe H is getting the push to be the guy next. But
H is getting the push on 205 Live and NXT.
And how are those shows doing?
Amazing.
What's the quality level?
So
of those?
okay, so
tenfold better.
NXT is probably the best product that they have right now. And ever since Hunter took over 205 Live, it has been phenomenal.
Right.
They're still not getting to the point where they should be on 205 Live. 205 Live should be the Lucha Libre flippy stuff, and they still don't do that.
It should be the Cruiserweight Classic,
yes,
which was amazing.
Yeah.
What they need to do is set it up to where I think they screw up because they want everybody to stick around after SmackDown for 205 Live, and I think they need to capitalize and actually put that before your SmackDown launches, so you warm the crowd up to amazing matches.
It should be tied in with NXT.
Also, that could be another play.
Or it should be the lead-in or after NXT.
Well, I thought that was one of the things that WCW did really well back in the day with Nitro was like you even if you incorporate it into the show itself, like dude, Raw being 3 hours is criminal.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Like and again, when I said 5 years, I was just like kind of spitballing there because I do remember the 3. I don't know how long it's been 3 hours, but I kept with it a little bit during the 3 hour stage, and it was just miserable. And like that's one of the things that drove me away. And when you have 3 hours, how can you not have time for things? Like Raw is not only the longest show, but it feels like the longest show because nothing happens. There's no attention to the mid card, and here's an opportunity to highlight the cruiserweights and give those amazing matches, just like Ray used to do with like all the guys back in WCW.
Oh, and I think that was the problem with then why Neville left.
Like yeah.
Well, he got the weirdest lack of push. You get the NXT title, and it almost was like if you had an NXT title, when you came up to the main roster, you were getting a push to the main titles, one of the two, and Neville just got kind of pushed to the bottom. I get it, he's a smaller dude.
Here's exactly what they're doing the exact same thing to Andrade.
Yes. And Almas is an amazing worker.
How good were those matches, man, on those takeovers?
The Johnny Gargano match was phenomenal.
He gets the title, he gets called up to the main roster, and he hasn't been on TV except for backstage promotion.
Maybe he's nursing an injury.
No, Sin Cara is who they want him to face, and Sin Cara is nursing an injury.
So they're just having him bide his time.
Yeah.
Give him somebody better. There's better feuds. You know what? Put Almas.
Almas is a guy that can face off against anybody and have a good match.
Absolutely.
And I did not like him in NXT. But
I didn't at first, but his title reign was unreal.
It was a spectacular title reign. It really was. Who did he win the title off of? I'm blanking for a second.
He beat Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Right.
So that McIntyre, that's when I first noticed him. Like really took note. That McIntyre match was great.
That was that the NXT during
that was
the WrestleMania weekend?
That was New Orleans.
Yeah, right.
Well, I think it was one of those deals where like it felt like they got the title on him because McIntyre was getting
called up.
But you always hear people talk about, and this is one of the frustrating things, is the whole brass ring, or like take advantage of when you get the opportunity, like BS that they try and tell the fans, which we can smell the BS a mile away.
Totally.
But Almas was one of those guys that when given the opportunity to run, I did not care about him before he really got the title. Like, it was just like, whatever. His title reign, he put on amazing match after amazing match.
He put on a great clinics.
Curious, you were at NXT, we were just talking, Velveteen Dream has got to be the other guy that's just ultra over, right?
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
I mean,
that Ricochet match.
Amazing.
So when I started watching NXT on the regular and Velveteen Dream came out, I'm just like, this guy has everything. He's got the look, he's got the charisma, and he's got the ring work. Like, I am so deathly afraid of this guy getting called up.
Well, he's going to turn into like with Velveteen Dream. Like, when I first saw the like when they repackaged him as the Velveteen Dream, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be another like adorable Adrian character, or like Rico, or one of those like okay, you're going to make him the flamboyant. He has like owned it, and going with. It's a testament to him as a performer, how good he's made that character work.
Absolutely.
All right, so I wasn't going to go to NXT Chicago at all. I'm like, but what made me go and buy the tickets was very like I think it was a week or two before NXT. That promo between Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. Like, they did the taped one where he's like, Ricochet's like, yeah, when he was in Tough Enough, blah, blah, blah. And then the Dream goes, the Dream don't remember that. And then they do, I'm like, that was great. I loved every minute. That was just like, the Dream don't remember. But then Ricochet did that flip.
Right. Out of the ring.
And said, show me. I'm like, take my money. Take it right now. This is going to be a 5-star match.
And it was.
I need to be physically there to see this match.
Isn't that a testament, though, to like the creative team or the performers? I don't know how the structure of like NXT
I don't know.
works,
I don't NXT structure at all.
Every feud the Velveteen Dream has had, like, do you remember the Aleister Black feud he had, where it was like say my name?
That's all it was.
But there's a point to the feud that you don't get in other like. Maybe, and that's one of the reasons I love all of his matches, because he tells that story in the ring on top of the promos leading up to it, that you have an investment in what is going to unfold in this match.
I'm invested in Velveteen Dream. I'm starting to invest into Ricochet.
Right.
I'm highly invested in Aleister Black. He's an amazing talent.
Aleister Black was great until he got the title.
You think he's been kind of lame?
He's been lame to me. Like I was there for the Lars Sullivan match, and my God, is Lars Sullivan literally when they say he's a Kirby drawing in real life? That man in person. I'm 25 rows back on the outskirts. He comes out. I'm just like, oh my God, that's Jack Kirby. That is a Jack Kirby drawing, and I'm seeing it for real.
He's built like the Thing.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is just a
ridiculously
complete
proportioned
monster.
More monstrous than Braun, you think?
Than who?
Braun.
Braun's got that baby face that you cannot take seriously. Lars Sullivan looks like a guy that would just rip your soul out of you.
He looks like a gorilla.
Yes.
Like, I mean, like, his fists are like the size of my
head.
Yes.
He's got Andre the Giant hands. That scary, like, he is a scary man.
Yes, and that's so. Like, Braun is the difference between he and Braun is that when Braun does what he does, and because of the background we know he has, he's a scary dude.
Yes,
but like Brock Lesnar, I look at those two men and I'm just like, that man could beat me up. Unquestionably.
First time I ever saw Brock Lesnar is when he did one match for the XWF. In Hammond, in Indiana. That was that failed Hulk Hogan thing.
Yeah.
So we're in Hammond. I see that guy come out. He's still in his mid-20s at this point.
Wow.
And I go, that is even though he still has that baby face, I'm still thinking that is a scary man. I would piss myself if I had to go face to face with this person. Lars Sullivan's that guy.
Okay.
No, he just looks like a monster.
Braun Strowman, God forbid, he's a big guy, but he's got that baby face.
He looks inviting. Like you could be friendly with him.
Yeah, he looks like a giant teddy bear.
Well, but I think he's one of the few guys they're actually doing something right with on the roster of
absolutely
making him, because I do watch the pay-per-views and then I'll watch the lead-ups, or I'll watch I listen to wrestling podcasts nonstop, so I'm keeping up to speed on what is going on. But knowing that Strowman now is a babyface, the audience is behind him, especially when he comes out in the pay-per-views and stuff like that.
He's not so much babyface. They're still trying to make him the monster, but the crowd is making him babyface.
He's a face, but he's not a babyface.
Yeah.
It's the fact that he's a monster, and we want to cheer that. It's similar to with Lesnar. No matter what they do with Brock Lesnar, you can hate him all you want, but you kind of love him because you know he's just going to go in there and just tear crap up.
Yeah. They killed me with Braun, and why I don't like Braun as much anymore is that whole thing with Nicholas. They didn't need to do that.
WrestleMania, that was dumb. I thought he was just going to say, "I'm my partner," and then just
no.
The hell out of
that would have been a perfect opportunity to bring in somebody an NXT call up, bring back Neville.
That would have been awesome.
Or just somebody, just bring back a veteran.
MVP.
Something.
I liked it.
Anybody.
I like him too. So
MVP is one of the most underrated wrestlers out there ever.
Absolutely.
But yeah, pair him with there's that no chin son bitch.
James Ellsworth.
Team him with Ellsworth.
Yeah. Well, because what I had a problem with that match when I watched it was the fact that I'm a huge Cesaro fan, and you talk about underrated.
Cesaro's massively underrated. Yep. Barely had any individual title runs. Lost in the shuffle in a tag team division. He should be a champ.
Well, and he's talk about somebody that makes everyone look good. You watch Cesaro's matches, and you're just like, this guy's fun to watch wrestle. How they botched his teaming with Paul Heyman is because that was a match made in heaven as far as just you have one of the best talkers behind Bobby the Brain Heenan as far as managers go ever, in conjunction with one of the best wrestlers of this generation. Just let it happen.
No, I do like the bar.
The bar is awesome.
And they screwed that up. But I thoroughly do. I thoroughly enjoy the bar.
Thanks, Sheamus.
Yeah. I really do. I like them as a tag team. I didn't like them at first.
Well, it was hard because you do that best of 7. The expectation there, one of them are going to get a title opportunity, and then the title opportunity is let's team you together as a tag team, which at first you're like,
we're killing each other, but then the very next week we're a tag team.
But they made it work because it wasn't like they were water and water together. It was oil and water for a minute as Sheamus and Cesaro before they became the bar.
Well, I think the bar is indicative of a larger problem in the main roster, which bothers me. Is just, and Matt and I were talking about this earlier, of it drives me nuts that there's only a focus ever on one thing at a time. And when the focus was on them as the tag team champs, every feud felt pointless because all you cared about was
they didn't
them.
need the face. Oh, who did they face 17 times in a row? No, I'm thinking Usos New Day.
Which they've had a million matches against each other.
I am so fed up with the guy. It ties me into why I hate Roman Reigns, right? I'm sure he's a great dude. I'm talking about characters here. It's like somebody saying, one of the things that frustrates me is when either the wrestlers or commentators or somebody makes comments about well, the fans don't he's a hard worker. It's like, dude, it's like somebody saying I hate The Thing or I hate Spider-Man. It's like, we're not talking about a person. We're talking about a fictitious character here. Great, he's performed by somebody, and he's performed to the best of that guy's ability. I'm not knocking him as an actor, as a performer. I'm saying the character Roman Reigns I hate. And one of the reasons I hate him is because he is the only focus on the show.
Absolutely.
Everything else is, how does this benefit Roman Reigns? And It drives me nuts. And the same thing happened with the Bar, or whoever's the champ. There's like one tag team they'll pick, and then there's one team that just out of nowhere will show up. And then they're like the focus for a couple weeks, and then it's somebody like.
Then they go back to the lower mid card.
Well, I forget if it was who said it, but the philosophy is every person in every feud should have a title in mind for I'm fighting you because the winner of us gets to move up to be closer to fighting for the title.
Well, that's the New Japan mentality.
Absolutely, and they do it properly.
Yeah. Okay. So you're in the 6-man tag in New Japan. You pin the champion. Guess what? You pin the champion. You're in line for the title.
Right.
And if you pin them decisively, you might go to the front of the line.
Yeah. Depending on what the packing order is. Because if it's like right around the G1 Classic, they're not going to do that. And that's where they're failing a lot with where WWE's failing a lot is that, one, they have too many titles.
Okay.
You know, there should be, and that when I first got back into wrestling, when they had the one title and they were going back and forth between SmackDown and Raw, that was beautiful because then that show could say, hey, we've got the title over here.
Correct.
You guys, you know?
And they don't have that now.
No.
It's because the issue is now you have such a massive divide. You've got Raw with all of their titles, SmackDown with all of their titles, but who's really the top guy? And then you look at Raw, and I don't know if you guys think this is a problem, but what's Lesnar been doing? How does he not even defend the title?
He's considered the Universal title, which is the new made-up title, is the top title. Lesnar hasn't been showing up. While AJ's actually the top wrestler.
He's so good.
And at the pay-per-views, why is he on the mid-card for the title?
It goes back to the way they have always treated SmackDown.
Yeah.
Even back when there was like the SmackDown
now,
6 and stuff,
I'm just wondering if that position's going to change now that SmackDown's going to Fox.
Ooh, yeah, that's true.
That is
Friday
a good
night move.
That is a real hope, I think, that SmackDown is going to be.
Because SmackDown's always been the better show. And at 2 hours is perfect.
Right.
You can tell your stories with your guys and make the title actually mean something. And that should be their flagship show now because it's going to be on basic.
Right.
Raw is the corner. They shouldn't make it the flagship show. It's the cornerstone of WWE. It shouldn't be the flagship show anymore.
I just want to share the love on it. Like, that's my whole thing. Again, it just goes. Sometimes, guess what? AJ is in a better feud than Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Roman doesn't need to close the show.
No.
Especially considering everyone hates it. And I was shocked. I was shocked at the last pay-per-view.
Whole reason why I never went to Money in the Bank.
Close the show. Because just like Cena, no matter what Cena was doing, he always, even when Punk was having these amazing matches with Daniel Bryan.
Cena was the headliner, yeah.
You know, and it's just, they need to get over that mentality. And you guys mentioned New Japan, right? And it's like, I wasn't even following New Japan when Wrestle Kingdom happened last year. I was following it ancillary.
Leading into the Omega Jericho match is what you're talking about.
Omega Jericho. Just in following it on podcasts and on YouTube, I was more invested in half of that card than I was in WrestleMania. Because they didn't care about half the WrestleMania matches. Why should I? Whereas I was like, Naito, this match is amazing.
My first New Japan experience was Wrestle Kingdom.
This past one.
Okay. So that was my first. My buddy James has been following New Japan for a while. And he's like, all right, dude, here's what's going to happen. You're going to come over on January 4. You're going to sit down because you like WWE. You like what it is. You're going to watch New Japan, and you're going to say WWE after you watch this. And sure enough, I watched Wrestle Kingdom, and I said WWE.
Yeah, dude, that Super Junior match, the 6-man match with Will Ospreay and Marty Scurll and everybody.
Oh, that thing! I thought Ospreay was dead.
Oh my god!
I thought Ospreay was legitimately either crippled or dead. That curb stomp that he took
was insane.
I thought I'm like, oh my god, he just went vacant.
He did.
Yeah, and the move on the outside on that rope, I thought, oh man, he's crippled.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Ospreay is a crazy man. Crazy.
Well, I think one of the things that New Japan does that's so much better than what the WWE is currently doing, but they used to do well, was they let the characters be the characters. Like,
yes.
Within a very short period of time, you understand who Tanahashi is and what his role is within the company.
One pay-per-view, I understood exactly who was who and what was what.
Right.
Absolutely. Well,
instead of it's Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
he's the guy we really like.
Well, but I like Daniel Bryan and
I
like Finn
you like
Balor,
Roman Reigns.
But no, we're gonna push Roman Reigns.
He's really strong.
Yeah. But Finn Balor, I mean, he was the first Universal Champ. You should give him that rematch, right? Nope, Roman Reigns is the greatest.
Yeah,
yep.
I'm so sick and tired of hearing the excuses also of like again, I can smell BS a mile away, and I know you can't throw me crumbs and expect me to think it's a steak.
Yeah. Well said.
Well
said. And I think that Being the Elite and the show, I don't know if you guys watch it on YouTube, it's hilariously cleverly done.
We were just talking about that. It's just like WWE is obsessed with social media.
But they suck at it.
I'm looking at their social media. I'm looking at, Bailey's social media. I'm looking at Kevin Owens, what was his social media.
What your social media is? Is that what you mean to say, KO?
Yeah. I am...
For those of you that don't know, Matt looks just like Kevin Owens.
100% dead ringer. Dead ringer.
He loves Celine Dion. Or no, Shania Twain. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hey, I actually do like Shania Twain, okay? But I'm looking at everybody's social media, and they're like all obsessed with the social media. And when we're talking about it, I'm like, okay, so Being the Elite is how you do wrestling social media. You are continuing the storyline through Being the Elite. And we talked about it, and the thing is that the guy that started everything on social media was Matt Hardy. Was
Broken
V1.
Matt Hardy. Yep, V1. OG.
V1 started social media, Matt Hardy.
Yeah, and he did a wonderful job with it. And then a guy named Zack Ryder picked up and really ran with it. And because, if you capitalize and you make your own and you take advantage of what is given to you, you can rise to the top. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. How's Zack Ryder still doing? Like, what did they do with Z?
And what are they doing with Broken Matt Hardy?
Nothing.
The greatest.
Wait a minute. Don't him and Bray have the tag titles still?
The fact that you're asking the question and not telling us is is all you need to say.
I don't even think they defended the titles at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They were supposed to. Then they scrapped it. And, Final Deletion should have been an amazing event.
Wasn't.
The only great thing out of that was Mower of Lawns.
I did not dislike that as much. I appreciated what they tried to do. I mean, the first one they did,
they didn't capitalize on it.
Right, and that's that. I will give you all the credit on that one.
Bray Wyatt should have came back as kind of like how Brother Nero came back.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Going to
it should have been a completely different
incarnation of him. Totally.
Not just. Well, I'm wearing a meat slab apron now.
Well, guys, I hate to cut this short, but we do have a couple more panels. So if you guys are willing to, after the two panels, we can continue this conversation and go a little bit further.
Oh, we still have to get into the Elite, baby.
We haven't even got there yet, I know. So we're going to cut this one short for now. We're going to let you guys get back to your tables and relax for a little bit. We'll bring Brews with Dudes up next for a live Brews with Dudes show. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Sounds good.